I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is All the Mods 10 to the Sky. Ah, yes, more All the Mods 10 to the Sky, and I tell you what, today I am getting crafty. I'm getting buildy. I've got the itch, so I do want to get to doing this, but also a wandering trader just spawned, so I'm going to go ahead and swab that bad boy. So later on in the future, if I ever want to grind out some of these things, like looks like it can even give us spawn eggs for bees and things like that, and also crazy gear, yeah, it might be a good idea. But for now, farewell. But yes, I am building some infrastructure. Well, I'm building a structure, mind you. This is the tower, and I'm starting to plan out the design for this tower, and I've gotten some inspiration from Pinterest, as I always do. It may sound weird, but I definitely recommend, if you want some building, just take a look at some structural architecture. Like, just take a look at stuff online. There's a lot of good places to get inspiration for building, and I'm gonna go with this very brutalistic structure, but it's also going to be futuristic as well, so it's going to have both, the best of both worlds. But so far I've gone up 2 blocks, kind of building up, and then up here I'm just going straight in a 45 degree off the main, and this is going to be solid right here. And then we're going to have some lines that run all the way up through the middle of the structure, and then there's going to be 2 more sections that run up even higher than this. So this is not stopped. This it's going to be even higher. But today I've got some more plans outside of just building, right? I want to actually use some of this space. So some of this space that is in here, we can actually use this for some mystical agriculture farms. That's right, because today I would really like to get some mystical agriculture set up, because it's going to be an easy way for me to farm more dirt and many other resources. For example, making more concrete without doing it the method I was doing. I can make it in a lot easier way. We can also get unlimited dyes. Now, this pack is sort of limited in its mystical agriculture production. Like, it doesn't have all of the seeds that you would expect in all the mods, and I don't know if that's going to change in the future. But as of right now, we are very limited in the mystical seed department. Like, there's not a lot going on here. They really want you to do bees, which I don't mind. I do want to get into bees, and I think we're going to have an upper area that is just dedicated towards bees. And I want to make it like, you know, kind of like on the top of skyscrapers where we have, like, I don't know, plant areas. I kind of want the bees to be up there potentially. But right now, mystical agriculture is going to still be worthwhile because we are going to want to get certain seeds like nether seeds and just like fire essence, things that it makes life a whole lot easier having these like utility seeds. Before I can even get started with that, I want to go ahead and continue building this up. And I do want to get this filled in for the most part. There's still a lot more filling in that needs to be done. But yeah, as you can see, I mean, I'm able to use the building gadget. Helps out a ton getting this done. I mean, no joke, the amount of time the building gadgets has saved me. I owe Dyer so much. He doesn't even realize. I say this every video, but it's just like, it's so much time. I mean, the ability for me to express myself in a different way, like I'm able to build things like this without needing to worry about, oh, I don't have the time to place all of these blocks by hand. Like, this is the kind of stuff I love about modded Minecraft. And it also still allows me to like be able to do this in survival and still need to grind out resources. Like, this is what it's all about. Now, I've started to get some lighting in here, and I think right here is where we're going to start our first mystical agriculture crop. Now, I'm going to have glass that rises all the way up to the top section here. So yeah, just keep in mind, this is all going to be open with glass, and so I do want to make this look nice. Oh, by the way, just in case you were wondering, Steve is safe and on a seat now, so no longer rolling, but definitely nice and situated here and seated. I can't wait to find a more permanent home, but it's definitely keeping the picnic nice. Nobody has even touched the pancakes. Thanks, Steve. Steve's the goat, I tell you what. So now let's talk about mystical agriculture farms. So they are going to be very, very fast because we have access to accelerators, growth accelerators from Applied Energistics. And this is kind of a tried and true farm, but look at this. We actually have even faster growth accelerators in this pack. And I thought the base growth accelerators were fast enough. Now, I don't know if we're going to necessarily need faster growth accelerators for these farms, but here in the future, whenever we get into Geors, we are probably going to want to get those higher tiers. But that's probably after we have more power, because I'm assuming that is going to be a huge cost on our power network. But this right here, this is the outline for what is essentially a really nice mystical agriculture farm that I originally played with, quite a while ago. So this design was immediately after we found out that we could tick accelerate with the tick accelerate mystical agriculture farms with applied energistics, and we could do it in such a way because, well, at the time, lily pads were being heavily gated in mod packs. Now, lily pads in this pack, they actually work quite well, and they're pretty easy for us to craft. So that wouldn't actually be a big problem. Lily pads are really, really fast, especially when combined with another method. Now, as we continue to work on this farm, I should pose a question to you. What is your favorite seed from mystical agriculture? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. But okay, back to this farm. Now, is this farm going to be fast? Yes. Is this farm going to be easy to build? Yes. Is this farm the fastest farm out there? No, actually, I would say the lily pad farm is probably one of the fastest methods. But is this method the most optimized for servers? Probably. And is it going to be one of the most optimized for your world? Also, I would say probably. And that's because of the way the harvester pylon works, which is what we are going to be using to get this farm up and running. Now, when all is said and done, you should have this sort of checkerboard pattern that is going on, with this being the center point, which we got to look at the perspective of how water works. And so water can spread out to 4 crops. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks worth of space. And so that's why we have it situated in this way. Now in the center, these are where the growth accelerators are going to go. And so this maximizes the amount of growth accelerators that are going to be wrapped around each crop that are in these spaces. And believe me, you don't need more than this amount of spaces for one singular crop type. I tell you, this generates so fast that you're going to blink and you're going to have entire inventories filled and you'll never need that much. I will say later on as we progress, we are going to probably want to get some better mystical agriculture farm set up, but this is by far one of the simplest ones to get up and running early on. And it's free. That is another big part of this. It doesn't even really cost any power to run. It's going to be self-sufficient, which is another big part of this. Now, what I've done is I've gone ahead and crafted 100 of the crystal resonant generators and 100 of the growth accelerators. And you should have this by now, especially if you already have gotten up applied energistics and auto crafting, especially with the reaction chamber. But it's easily done even by hand because of how cheap these are to make. I mean, just look how cheap these things are. And really the only thing we have to do is place them in every single position here where there is terracotta at the moment. So I do want them on the outside, I want them on the inside, I want them surrounding every single block of dirt. And then at the bottom, I'm going to remove all of that terracotta now with vein mine, which is so nice. And underneath every single one, I'm just going to drop in a crystal resonant generator. And this is enough, like I mentioned in another episode, that this is enough to power these accelerators. And now for this, let's go into copy mode because I really want to copy this and save this for later, so that way we can use this again. And I recommend copying it before you turn this all into tilled dirt because it'll just make pasting it in a lot easier. It'll actually copy over. So I'll select this corner, and then I'll go ahead and break these sides just to make sure that it copies it without those sides. And then over here as well. And then what we can do is go into the settings menu and then hit confirm again. That'll recopy. And now we have everything copied. And yeah, I mean, at this point, I mean, we could just paste it in. You can also keep this building gadget and store it and rename it, and it'll always have this paste ready to go if that's something you want to do. Or you should be able to also export the paste gadget and be able to export this data. And like I said, if you want to actually save it physically, we do need paper and a template manager. So let's grab some paper real quick. And the template manager, which is really, really nice. We'll plop that down and then I can save this for later. So we'll put the paper in this slot. This goes in here and then we'll say mystical agriculture farm. And then we hit save. That has now saved this farm into a template. And we can just name this template. You can see it's already named MA farm. But if we wanted to reload that, that's where we would put this in this slot and hit load, and that would pass that data back into our building gadget for later. And we can just store this, or in this, if you wanted to share it with your friend, you could copy the actual code and then paste that in like a paste bin or what have you. And then they can actually paste that into a template as well. And I feel like today is an advertisement for building gadgets. I mean, it's just so much, it's so good. Okay, so we're not fully done with the farm. We are going to need water to be in the middle here. And we're also going to need a harvester pylon. That's actually what I want to use to harvest this crop, but you could use something like a modular router if you really wanted to. However, you would need like a scythe if you were going to use the modular router method. And that can be very powerful as well. But I think for right now, the most efficient to help us with TPS overall in our single player world, and also if you're on a server, definitely use a pylon. It's just overall a better choice. Yeah, especially for that, like I said, TPS, being friendly with it. Because before you know it, if you start doing a lot of these farms, you're gonna be like, man, why is my world lagging? And then you run like NeoForge TPS, and then you realize your TPS is like at 3, and you're like, oh, why is it so bad? And then you go and look back. I mean, don't ask me how I know. Let's get our waterlogged pylon in, and we place in the water. There we go. So there is the harvester pylon. Now the harvester pylon is going to be set to a 9x9 area to work in, and we are going to need to give it something in its inventory in order to harvest, but it is level with the dirt. And now that we have the water in, we can go ahead and hold down the vein mine key, and we should be able to vein mine almost all of these crops places. That's about it. We're not done yet though. See, what really makes this farm go absolutely wild is red fertilizer. And without this, it is significantly slower, I will say. And then that's where the lily pads, like if you didn't have red fertilizer, the lily pads would probably be the best option. But this right here is great. However, you can't use like anything to auto place this. You have to go in by hand and place all of this red fertilizer, which can get kind of tedious. But I tell you what, you would also, if you did lily pads, you'd have to place a ton of lily pads on water. And that means you also need a lot of water to be able to place it all on. So that's also a thing. Also, I feel like I should buy this from this guy. That's those enchants we can strip off of here too. Oh my goodness. Okay, emeralds. It is. I mean, this guy is forcing my hand. I mean, it has unbreaking tin. Did I see that right? An efficiency tin? I feel like that's what I seen. Wow. These guys are so crazy powerful. Okay, where did you go? Where did you go? We're buying this. Efficiency 10. Wow. But I don't need you anymore, so farewell. You too. You've seen absolutely nothing. Don't tell anyone you seen that, or I'll find you and I'll strip away all of your modded Minecraft knowledge. I will. Just test me. Just do it. Oh, I'm almost ready to go. I do want to grab a ton of... Oh, that's a lot of stuff we're getting. Oh, hey, look, we ended up getting mystical agriculture stuff. Okay, so I really need to get some Inferium seeds, which I needed Inferium. This is why having a magnet on is a bad idea. Let's go ahead and toss as much as I can of this in here as possible. We'll come back, by the way, to dealing with this menu here soon. We are going to dabble in Apotheosis, but to be able to do Apotheosis, I do have to change some filter settings, which we're going to work on in the future. I promise we will get into that. But for right now, I'm not super duper worried about it. We got to get mystical agriculture up and running, and look how much we've gotten just from our mob farm. Oh my goodness. Like, do we need another source? Do we even need to make like an essence farm? I mean, maybe I would, you know what? It might be overkill. I think we still need to do essence farm first, and then we do practical farm on top of this, maybe another level. Now we've got to figure out a hoe for right now, and I do eventually want an unbreakable hoe, which I believe we can easily make with Allthemodium. However, there is a little bit of progression we need to do for Allthemodium to do this. But I mean, I did want to try this method because I'm pretty sure somebody has mentioned to me in the Discord that, I mean, you can use like a stone hoe or just any hoe from Silent Gear, and this doesn't actually treat it like it's broken when it has broken. I do want to try that. So to be able to try that, we can go ahead and grow regular seeds over here. So these should start growing. There we go. You can see they are going to pop up really quick. Also, you need to make sure that you have enough light in the area for these to work. Now, I did go ahead and flood the area by placing in some of these feral flare lanterns. So these should have plenty of light, and we shouldn't have to worry about that. But yeah, this should also be growing faster. What's going on here? I mean, I know we need a barrel that is above, and me doing the twerk thing seems to be growing these crops faster. Let's try mystical agriculture seeds, because I do have a few Inferium seeds. Now, I will be able to tell, yes, so these are growing quickly, As you can see, this is what I do expect from the mystical agriculture seeds and how quickly I expect it to grow. But what I'm not seeing is my seeds here growing quickly, which is kind of odd actually. But it should work for everything, and my experience, it has worked for everything. It's just not working here. But you know what? I can, for right now, do this because I'm going to need quite a few wheat seeds, so this is sort of temporary. All right, so this has been running for a little bit, and I mean, honestly, it's harvested quite a bit, and I bet it has harvested enough to make the hoe broken. But wouldn't you know, it is still working. Now, this definitely seems like an exploit sort of thing to me, which I don't like to use, but I mean, I did just show it. I mean, this is something that'll probably get fixed in the future, but yeah, that's hilarious. It's not the first time I've seen something like this though in a mod. So this is going to lead me in the process of actually getting, and might as well dabble in Apotheosis, getting ourselves the Allthemodium hoe. And Allthemodium, anything we might want. So where exactly am I getting Allthemodium from? Well, you actually get a ton of it from Blackstone. So crushed Blackstone, we're getting it, and I think we're also getting it from somewhere else, possibly? But we're definitely getting it from there. Oh yes, we also get a little bit from sand, as you can see. But now in this pack, we can't just immediately start making Allthemodium tools. We actually need a smithing template for that. And we need a regular smithing template as well from the Nether. But there's no bastions in the Nether, so how do we get a smithing template? Well, thankfully, they've added a recipe, but that recipe requires another smithing template from Apotheosis. So to get this smithing template, we need some stone, we need some gem fused slate, and we also need luminous crystal shards. These are all things that we need from gear from our mob farm. And that also means that whole Control T thing that we need to actually dabble in a little bit, which is world tiers. Now, I do know quite a bit about this already, but the base part of the world tiers is very easy. We just need to equip some gear, and gathering gear is going to be rather easy with our current mob farm setup. There's only a couple of things we need to do. We need to make sure that we have a shut off, so that way we can control our mob farm in case this gets out of hand. But we just need to remove the sea armors and also the sea tools for right now. So that way those actually build up inside our farm, just like this. And we need to get enough of this equipment to kind of get started. But I've also already been collecting gems, and I didn't even need any upgrade in here. I don't recommend using pipes mods to like carry a lot of items quickly from inventories. It causes a tremendous amount of lag. So I want to stress this enough, as on our own supporter servers, I've been noticing that the pipes mod is just so bad at this for some reason. But yeah, as soon as you put upgrades in these things, handling things from mob farms and having a lot of inventory space for it to read from, it just causes so many issues. But we have tons of gems. We have so many gems that we can work with to be able to get this dust. It's not even a problem. And now we have tons of gear that we can actually wear to complete our world tier. And I need to put on a common chest piece, helmet, leggings, and boots to be able to complete our first world tier. And that will lead us into our next one, where we need to equip uncommon. And then after that, I mean, things are going to be looking a lot better. I think we need to get up to that tier at least before we can start seeing world bosses spawn on our mob farm, which, believe it or not, they do. So let's see if I can find this. There's uncommon boots, there's an uncommon helmet, and we do need to have these things equipped, by the way. We have to like have them held in our hand. So I just held an uncommon. You can see that that has completed. And then I need to wear the boot and the helmet. And we can see that that is now completed. I just need a chest piece and leggings. I'll just let this kind of go through and see if I can't get any of those. Now, something that can help with this is an armory cabinet. And just like we're pulling out here, we can place an armory cabinet down, and I can use the pipes. Just, I'm not putting any upgrades in here. This should be more than fast enough to start to throw in some items, but you can't just read from here. We need some way to access this. And well, time to throw back the storage lectern, I think. Now, I think this will work, but I have noticed that sometimes it can cause some problems with being able to pull items out of inventories. But there we go. There's some boots, and we can now see all of the items that are flooding into the armory cabinet, allowing us to see this a little bit easier. So there we go. There's a legging and a chest piece. Do we have a regular chest piece? Perfect. And now, once we have this, all of our tiers are complete. So now we have completed the front tier, and now bosses and things like that are going to be a little bit more difficult for us to do. And it's also going to be that way whenever we complete the uncommon, which should be very easy for us to find in this list. I mean, we have a lot of stuff in here. And the uncommon, by the way, is the green. So yeah, there's a chest piece. We have boots. Guarantee we have one of those. And we also have to have a tool that is at least in the green tier. Bow counts as a tool, by the way. Now, the only thing that we don't have on here is slay the Apothic Invader. We'll actually have to wait for a Apothic boss to spawn before we can kill that, but they end up spawning in here. And unfortunately, though, this farm will end up taking them out. We do have to have like a space available for mobs to spawn for one to spawn, but we'll end up getting that eventually. Right now, though, let's go ahead and put this particular gear on, and we'll have just about everything in this tier complete, which is fine. You can already see up on this tier, we just have to equip rare gear, which is the blue tier, which we'll also end up getting over time. Now, the armory cabinet, it holds 4,000 of these items. So once this one fills up, I mean, you'd have to have another one to hold these items. Just keep in mind, there's a lot of data that goes on in this stuff, and MBT can be kind of a problem. So just keep that in mind. Also, just don't put the upgrades in here. Just use another piping mod. So to get back to the template, now that we've got that done, we should be getting some higher tier mob spawning in our mob farm and stuff like that. So we'll be getting some of the stuff needed for the salvage table. So like we're already getting gems. That was even prior to that. So we need to get gem dust. And the way we can get gem dust prior to the salvaging table is, well, I believe dropping an anvil on them. Now, when doing this, I recommend looking for your cracked gems, your gems that are the worst in the tier. And once you have those, you should be good, making sure to pull those out, as many as you can. And then, yeah, an anvil. So we already have done anvil related stuff. So let's grab an anvil real quick. And we'll just drop it onto here. It doesn't really matter what you're dropping it on, just so long as you're dropping an anvil on them. And it converts into some dust. And now, beautiful, we have ourselves a salvaging table. Cool part about a salvaging table too, by the way, is you can automatically send ingredients into this and it's going to spit the product out, and we're able to actually keep that. So I believe we can just like pipe into here, but let's just, for example, take out like this. We throw this in here and salvage, and we get a little bit of product out from doing that, but it also destroys the item like you've seen. Now, here's what I want to try out. Can we automatically pull items into this? Yes. And you can see it automatically salvages them into their base components, which is pretty nice, honestly. And there's some of those crystal shards that we need, and that's automatically destroying the gear that's in here, turning it into these components. And then we just filter that out with another pipe if we want to, or what have you. But yeah, this seems pretty decent. I, however, only recommend doing this once you have completed most of your world tier related tasks, because you are going to want certain gear to be able to complete those world tier tasks. So keep that in mind. Eventually we'll have this automated, but I mean, for right now, this is really good. And I just put the pipe on for like a second. So there we go. So now we can make gem infuse slates, which is what we need for this. And we also have the crystal shard right here. And there we go. So now we have the smithing template, and now we can use that to make our base smithing template. Look at that. Beautiful. There we go. So now with the regular smithing template, we have our standard recipe where we use diamonds to duplicate it and all of that fun stuff. So definitely want to duplicate a few of them using all of our diamonds, apparently, to do this. So there's a few. And then after we have this, we're able to use that to go into the Allthemodium tier and make an Allthemodium upgrade. Requires a lot of netherite and full blocks of Allthemodium. And we do have plenty of Allthemodium as of right now. So there's a block of Allthemodium. And then continuing to upgrade. Do I have enough for the netherite? I don't know. That's 8 of them. I'm going to have to process some more ancient debris. Of course, after processing that up, we now have plenty. And there's the Allthemodium smithing template. This, by the way, can be upgraded with more netherite. I'm sorry, not upgraded, duplicated, I mean. To make this upgrade, it shouldn't be too bad. We need, let's see, netherite to be able to make a netherite hoe. And then we upgrade the netherite into Allthemodium. And I think we just need an Allthemodium ingot to be able to do this. So pretty straightforward. There's that. Diamond hoe gets upgraded to a netherite hoe, and then smithing template hoe, Allthemodium to an Allthemodium hoe. Perfect. And now we have a hoe that is literally unbreakable. Unbreakable in here. Shouldn't have to worry about it. And can this be automated with Applied Energistics? 100% it can. However, automating the smithing templates is where it requires a little bit more work, right? It is a recursive craft to do smithing templates, so you will need something like an ME requester to make sure you keep those in stock. I'm not quite there yet on those level of resources to feel comfortable doing that, but for right now, I can easily craft it by hand, and we just got to get like some sort of inventory on here to start harvesting up all of our Inferium. So just so I don't have to worry about it for right now, we'll throw in a netherite barrel, and then I will put just one stack upgrade in there and then a compacting upgrade. So a way it turns our Inferium essence into Inferium blocks, making it nice and compact. And so each of these can hold 1,000 blocks worth. That's a lot. Now I will take and plant in all of my Inferium, so that way we have a nice Inferium farm up and running first and foremost. And I mean, just look how quickly this is farming. I mean, yeah, once these all get up and running, they should start running really, really nice. And this is just like the base tier of these growth accelerators. I don't even know how much faster these things get. A couple of things I do want to explain. Yes, the harvester, while it does leave these sort of hanging here for a moment, as you can see, before they get harvested, there's just enough time where they could have probably been harvested already. That is honestly fine in most cases, but later on you may want to make this farm faster, and that's where you would probably want to use something like a modular router. But TPS wise for a server, it is honestly horrendous doing that. So this is a great option, and I think you can even go in the configs if you really wanted to, and you could speed this up. Now this is just the base level farm. That's just going to be an Inferium farm, and we are going to need to expand up. So there are going to be multiple levels of these farms that are going to reside within this area, I think. But thankfully it's really easy just to make another farm. We can literally just paste it in with the copy paste gadget. But I do want it to make it look really nice, so that's why I'm adding this facade around the front. And it's going to be incorporated into the whole design scheme of the building. Now I've kind of got this looking nice. There is going to be a stripe of color that runs through this whole thing once I kind of get this up and running. But the idea to have this all be glass on the outside, and then this is going to be some centerpiece stuff that is going to run down the middle. Like, that's kind of the goal. It looks pretty good so far. And by the way, in the time that it took for me to set this up, I already have two full stacks of Inferium blocks. Like I said, this stuff just produces so quickly. Now it's time to get the essence that is going to essentially produce sand, gravel, all kinds of other good things for us that we're going to be able to use in automations. And so I do need to make those seeds. I need an infusion altar set up. And I don't need this for very long, but I do want to put it somewhere that's not in the way. You know what? This area right down here, it seems to check those boxes off. I'm just going to go ahead and remove this. And I need to automate this, and it's actually really easy to automate with modular routers, but I got to get all these pedestals in. So something like this, and that. Beautiful. This is basically ready to go. So I could do this by hand, but like I said, I think it is best to have like a modular router set up or something that can pipe into these. Doesn't even necessarily have to be modular routers. Like, we could do this with just the pipes mod, really. You know what? I should challenge myself and do it with the pipes mod, because I've not done it with the pipes mod before. So that wouldn't be too bad. We just need our two major products that go into here. And then I'll just, on one side, I will feed in the different products. And on the other side, I'll feed in the different products like this. And then we're also going to need this to be split. So you have 4 over here. Over here, it's not going to be perfectly symmetrical, but we can have something like that, right? And then we got to remove this from the main, because we don't want this interacting with the main in any way. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be 1. So we need to remove this, and this will be 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be perfectly fine. Make sure this is set to pull out of the barrel. And so that should auto-fill all of these sides. Now, the middle is going to be the other issue. So we are going to need to pull out of here, and this is where it would make it a cable mess. We're also going to need to give this a redstone signal down at the bottom. So redstone it is. Let's just do a single redstone block just to make sure it's fully powered. Outside of that, that's just about it. Okay, let's get those other barrels that are going to consist of our input and our return for our product. Now for the center automation, that should be fairly straightforward. So we're going to have this here. This barrel is going to pull in, and then this is going to pull the product out. And so our result should end up in this chest. We put 2 products in here. We put the catalyst in here. And then this is our result product. I mean, this is super simple. Like, I don't think it gets any easier than this. You don't even need to worry about the complexities of modular routers to do this. But is it as pretty as modular routers? Like, definitely not. Definitely not. So let's grab our Inferium essence, because that's going to be used in our seeds. Dirt seed. So we just need this. And let's see, we also need to make prosperity, and we actually get tons of prosperity from our sieving setup. And yeah, we need to make dirt essence. I mean, that's pretty much it. So it should be 4 dirt, and then it's going to be 4 Inferium, And so we put the dirt on this side. You can see that went in. Put the Inferium on this side. You can see that went in. And then we put our prosperity seed in here. That gets made. And then the product, once it's finished, gets thrown into here. It doesn't get any easier than that. And this whole process should allow you to make multiple batches of seeds. That's kind of why I built it this way. And I mean, I recommend making all of these seeds. I think we might need them in the future. I don't know if we need all of the elemental stuff, but it's probably best just to make them. Even air seeds. As much as you may be like, I'm not going to use air seeds. Well, it is actually used in the awakening process. So if you ever wanted a scythe that does 17 by 17, well, you're going to need to awaken it. So you're going to have all this. And I don't know if this is going to be required in the Allthemod Star or not. It usually is. I think some of the best seeds to get set up though are these basic elemental ones, especially the water and the fire. I mean, it's used heavily when mixed with the stone and other seeds. That's what's going to allow me to get that sand that I was talking about. And we are going to get this all hooked up to our applied energistics today. Now, one thing that is kind of interesting, because I am going to need some upgraded Inferium, is the fact that we have the tiered system in here with the Inferium crystals. Not a big fan of it, because it just adds some extra tedium that's probably not even necessary. But I mean, the goal is to get all the way up to the highest tier and make the crystal. I wonder if that is even in here, or do you have to always use that tiered system? No, it's definitely in here. There's the master infusion crystal. So yeah, I mean, as soon as you get the chance to make a master infusion crystal, I definitely recommend doing it. For right now, we don't really need it. That is one of the things, like, unless you're planning on doing some of the armor stuff in here, not a lot of this stuff is even that necessary, right? We just need enough of the Prudentium to be able to make the rest of this, which is going to be nature, dye, and nether seeds. Like, this is all stuff worth getting. But now what's in this chest is quite literally all of the base seeds that I feel are super worth getting right off the bat, outside of all of the mob ones. Now, don't get me wrong, getting like blaze seeds and stuff like that is kind of nice to have, but I mean, at this point, it's going to be kind of a pain doing this whole process. So for right now, this is more than fine on our seed journey. And this gives us a ton of opportunities, right? So for example, making dirt, we can make red sand. We can use all of this to automate sand. We can automate all kinds of other fun stuff just from these seeds alone. So there is a lot of utility in the mystical agriculture, even in this small amount. And yes, with the power combined, well, all of this set up, it's going to start producing. I went in and put some bigger stack upgrades in here holding 16,000 each. I probably also want to void the fertilizer essence. I think I'll see about that. But as of right now, we can't compact this, but I do want to hook it up to the applied energistics system. So I want to get the rest of the seeds planted in here that I have for right now. And then let's get this hooked in. I do want to tap this into my network. So let's go ahead and grab this. We'll link this up. And I think what I'm going to do is it's going to take the place of maybe the white cable down here. I think there's plenty of space. So yeah, we can place this right here. And I do need to grab the applicator. Let's set this to white. Place that in. Make sure it is colored white so nothing else connects to it. It's looking beautiful. And then right click and voila, we are connected. So now we have access to our network. Let's head back up here and we'll get this tapped in. So grab some cable. I can use regular ME cable. It really doesn't matter here. We can continue it being white. It's not that necessary. I am going to run dense cables because I like the look of them. As weird as that may sound, they're going to run through the center. And then up here, I'm just going to branch off and use a regular cable. And then this being in the center. Oh, wait, that's not in the... Can I? Oh, man, I've got to fix this. This is not centered. There we go. Oh, goodness. We're getting that fixed. Now just run that up here. And let's see. Do I have my wireless kit? I do. Okay, so yeah, we'll just take this, shift right click, connect it. And then we do want to connect it to this barrel and this barrel down here. And that should reach. And it should also reach the two other platforms that I might end up building just to make sure we have plenty of space for all of our projects here. But I mean, this alone right here is more than enough, actually. And like all of our other connections, we throw that on there and make sure that is set to extract only. So the way nothing else gets in here. And yeah, another nice thing about the pylons, if this barrel does ever get filled up, the pylon's just going to stop working. It's not going to like spill items everywhere. So we don't have to worry about that. I mean, this is a really, really friendly farm. It's not a funny farm, it's a friendly farm. Now to add some color to this, what about a nice stripe from these Luminax blocks? We run this through here, and then I carry that striping all the way up through the center like this, and even carry it through here too. And then that runs up the middle like so. That doesn't look too bad. And this is just going to give it that like future vibe. I think this works out nice. Stuff that's going to make this work even better is by having like some walking paths that I add into the walls here. So we can give ourselves a little bit of working space that can connect up to the actual wall. That'll give us even more like work areas for other things as we continue on up. Because like I said, this thing is going to be much, much larger. I am adding some finishing touches up here to the glass chamber. This is going to be the dome for the chamber of glass. And I am using some of the Create Industrial Iron. It's just so nice. Like now that I know that this exists, it'll be really hard for me not to use this for an industrial palette again. Like this is some good stuff. Now, what I am struggling with is figuring out the angle that I should go with. Oh man, this is definitely a struggle. I think what I should do is retain the pattern that I was going with here. So we essentially go up two, up two, up two, and that is what I'll end up sticking with. I think that angle might look a little bit better. Maybe I need to go up one more here. So we'll continue there. Okay, that might work. That might work. Now, I'll tell you what, I think this is starting to give off a much better indication of what this is actually going to look like. This is all going to be glass, by the way. And then on the inside, this is all going to be branched out and is going to be its own thing on the center. It's going to look pretty good when it's all said and done. But you know what? I think that is just about it for today's episode. I hope you learned something new in today's episode, whether it was how to set up the mystical agriculture crops or how you can automate making the seeds. Definitely let me know down in the comments below, and don't forget to click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Give this video a huge thumbs up as well. And with that being said, it's now time to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks is going to go out to Narwhal King. Thank you so much for your amazing support in choosing to support me over on the Discord, by becoming a Discord premium member and supporting my content in just one of the best ways possible. You absolute boss. Thank you so very much. And guys, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.